Good morning, friends. So glad to have you joining me this morning. I'm Therese with Inspired to Sew in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I've got lots of fun things to show you today, including a beautiful new quilt. This is from our friend Vanessa Christensen from vandco. And this is a really fun one using the Ombre Bloom collection. I'll do a full pan here of this one. This is a pretty good sized quilt, actually. This is a large quilt, and this one is called Ombre Cabins. And look how pretty that is. The colors are gradating down, and of course you could work with the fabrics however you want to change the layout of those colors. But this is all done from the Ombre Bloom collection. And this was actually created using one of the bundles that was put together for this line. And so this is all done from a fat quarter bundle. So this fat quarter bundle includes all of the pieces in the Ombre Bloom collection. Isn't that beautiful? So this is all a fat quarter friendly pattern. And this is one I know I always get a lot of people that are asking if it is AccuQuilt friendly. This is one that would be perfect for using your strip die cutter, the 2.5-inch strip cutter. You can cut all of the logs. This whole center piece is everything, all of the blocks are cut from a 2.5-inch strip. So the only thing that would have to be manually cut would be cutting it to the size of the log, and then also cutting these side set pieces here, these triangles that are along the edge. But otherwise, everything else could be cut with your 2.5-inch strip using these fat quarter bundles. So the fat quarter bundle includes all of the fabrics from that Ombre Bloom collection, and it has all 32 colors in there. So that is a really lovely collection to make the lovely Ombre Cabins pattern. Isn't that fun? So this one is finished 75 by 92, and all you need for this one is the fat quarter bundle and then 4 yards of solid white background. Now I know that there are some things that are a hot commodity item right now that are hard to find, and white fabric is one of those. We have lots of it on order with our distributors, with our suppliers, but of course it takes a little bit of extra time as everybody's working with a smaller staff and shifts. So we do have an alternate option that I want to show you that we have been offering to people. This is Kona cotton in the extra wide bolt. So this is 108 inches wide. And it is the same type of fabric as the regular Kona cotton fabric is. It's just that it comes wider. So it is 108 inches is about 3 yards wide. So if you needed 6 yards of Kona white fabric or solid white fabric, you would actually only need 2 yards of the extra wide fabric. Don't worry about if you can't figure out the math. We can help you figure that out. Just tell us how many yards you need of regular width, and we can help you figure out how much you need of the wider width. So we have this available in the white. We also have it available in the snow, which is just a hair. It's not even off-white. It's just a tinge more towards the off-white section, but it is still white. We also have it in black. We do currently have Kona black as the regular width available as well. So these are great quilt backings, but they also can work for a background fabric too. So if you're looking for a solid white or snow, we have that available. So again, this is done with the Ombre Bloom collection. I want to show you a bolt of this again because it is so beautiful if you didn't see me show this the other day. So this is a fabric that gradates from the dark at the selvage and goes all the way up to the light. And the flowers, the blooms on that also are getting a little bit less as you're moving towards the fold. And then on the other side, it does the opposite. So it goes back down to the dark. So if you're getting a fat quarter of this fabric, you're gonna have just from the dark to the light. And so that would be 18 inches by about 21 inches is what a fat quarter would be. So we have that lovely collection. Isn't this a beautiful quilt? So this is one, the other great thing about this pattern is that not only everything, you truly just need that fat quarter bundle and the white background fabric. Everything in the center, all of those blocks are done with the fat quarter bundle. This fun pieced border here is done with the scraps from the fat quarter bundle. And even the binding was pieced with the leftover pieces from that fat quarter bundle. So it is a really easy one for us to get together for you, to ship to you, because it's just fat quarter bundle and some fabric. So if you were gonna do the extra wide fabric, the extra wide white Kona fabric, this calls for 4 yards of it. So if you were doing the extra wide, you would only need about 1.5 yards to 2 yards of that. So if you ordered 1.5 yards to 2 yards of that white fabric, you would have plenty to do the background of this pattern. Okay, I'm going to take you over. I want to show you some machine quilting. I promised you I'd show you my favorite machine quilting book today. So I want to show you something that it is my favorite one for a couple of reasons. I really love the layout of it and the design of it, but it was the first one that I used to be able to get more confident in my machine quilting skills and really trying some designs that are outside of my comfort zone. So this is a quilt that I did using this book. And I'll get a little bit closer on this, but I wanted to show you overall why I chose this quilt to work with, because I have all these different areas that are these smaller areas that I could try out my machine quilting designs and get a little bit more confident with them, and then also decide, okay, I really don't like that design, I don't want to do that one again. So this was a fun pattern for this. But this book, Free Motion Quilting with Angela Walters, is a really fabulous machine quilting book. And I think it might be Angela Walters' first quilting book. And what I love about this book is that she goes through and shows all sorts of fill designs, and she shows how to use the designs individually, but then at the back of the book she shows how to combine those designs together, to use them in wide open spaces, to use them in blocks, to use them as filler designs as well. And I really love the way that she wrote this book. So what she did was she took each of the, let me find what section here. She took each design and she tells you in words how that design was stitched. She shows you with pictures, and all of these pictures have arrows and numbers on them. So start here, go here, next, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So she shows you exactly what to do, and then in the background you can see a sample of the actual quilting that she did. So this is a really awesome book because you have a chance to try out all of these different designs, and about every page is a different design in here. So this really helped to kind of start my machine quilting, give me some confidence with machine quilting, because I was able to learn some of these basic shapes and perfect some machine quilting by also combining these different shapes together. So one of the things that I like to do, and that has been taught to me over the years, is that if you can draw it with your hand, you can draw it with your sewing machine, regardless of if you're working with a long arm machine or a domestic machine that you're moving the fabric under. So this is my quilting book, and in this book this is where I practice all of my designs. And so when I took a class with Amanda Murphy, I was practicing some of my feather designs. When I was working through this book with Angela Walters, I am practicing my quilting designs, and I will even write the names of those designs on there in case I want to go back and reference that page in the book later on when I am practicing that. So I've got lots of space in this book that I can practice my designs, but it is that muscle memory practice that you're able to kind of try things out. So in some of these that were designed as better border designs or sashing designs, I would take and I would draw some lines in there as well so that I could really practice staying within that area. So for me, this is a great way and something I would suggest, especially if you're just starting to do some machine quilting. Try drawing it out on some paper and see how that works before you start working on your quilt. But the other thing that I cannot stress enough is just quilt it, try it. You will be surprised how much you like it when it is done. It always looks so much better when you're finished than when you are actually stitching it at the machine. You have so much pent up anxiety over it that you just need to start quilting, because it really does make a big difference. Now with this quilt, I also chose to use some thread that would show a little bit more. So I chose to use several different colors of Aurifil thread. And I'm gonna pan this over here a little bit so that I can show you some of these designs. There we go. So on these, I chose, typically I chose something that was a matching thread, but when I got a little bit braver, I would choose something that was a higher contrast. So down here, this block, this was kind of a fun block, has lots of piecing in it. And you can see that I chose a higher contrasting thread here. Now this design, this is a really teeny tiny little pebbles design, so it's a good chance to try some really small quilting designs to be able to see how that looks. Now I want to show you the threads that I like to use. So on this particular quilt, I used Aurifil thread. And we carry 2 different weights of the cotton Aurifil thread. So Aurifil thread is 100% cotton, and we have the orange spool. So the spool itself is orange. This is 50 weight thread. And we have the green spool. This is 40 weight thread. So the 40 weight thread is a heavier thread, and the 50 weight thread is a lighter weight thread. So with thread, the higher the number, the thinner, the lighter weight the thread is, and the needles are exactly opposite. So isn't that convenient? Really easy for you to remember. The needles are the larger the number, the larger the eye, the larger the needle, and then the thread is the opposite. So we'll tell you that again many times, but I like to use the 40 weight thread if I want my quilting to show up a lot, so if I really want to see my stitches, and I will use the 50 weight thread, the lighter weight thread, if I want those stitches to blend in, if I don't want to see the quilting as much. If I really don't want to see the quilting, the stitches very much, but I want to see the quilting, I will use silk thread. And silk thread is 100 weight. So it's very, very lightweight thread. It's delightful to work with because the color blends in really nicely. I'll show you some other quilts another time that is using the silk thread because it's really lovely. Another thing I want to show you while I'm over here is a fun little gadget that you can get for your sewing room. This is called the Sip and Snip, and this is something that clamps right onto your sewing table or your sewing cabinet, and you can put all sorts of different bottles or coffee mugs or water glasses in here, and this is very sturdy. There's a little clamp underneath here that you tighten to fit over your table, and it will work with lots of different thicknesses of tables as well. And then you have your little trash bag, trash bag here, and that comes out and is very easy for you to dump. And this all compacts up really nicely, so if you're going to classes or retreats, it will travel with you really well. So this is the Gypsy Sensational Sip and Snip. Lots of fun. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. I want to show you a couple of AccuQuilt projects that we've got. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you this. So this is a fun new pattern from byannie, and this is called Undercover. This is a new pattern that is designed to make a cover for your sewing machine, and there are 3 different sizes that are included in this pattern. And of course, as typical byannie's pattern, there are so many smart things that are included in this pattern as well. So this can make all the way up to, I mean, a large machine. And there is also an add-on video tutorial that's included in this pattern. So the add-on video tutorial is something you can go to Annie's website. You add the video to your cart. So it's a $5 video, and in this pattern there is a coupon code that you enter in, and then it's a free video for you to watch. So the video does not replace the pattern, but it is lots of tips and techniques about how to complete this pattern and what kind of help dissect the pattern a little bit and help you figure that out. So with this sample that we have made, this is one that Deanna made here, and she used Jill's favorite AccuQuilt die, the tumbler die, to create a pieced cover. So she pieced the fabric first and then did the quilting, and she did lots of fun different kinds of quilting stitches on that fabric and the soft and stable. So she quilted those layers together and then cut those pieces out. Certainly you could use a printed fabric. Annie on the cover of this is using the new Tula Pink fabric from the Homemade collection. So of course that's all sewing themed fabric that has lots of scissors and sewing machines on it. So that would be really great to use as well. But this is another way to show that you could piece that fabric. So with this bag, a couple of the features that it has is on the front here, it does have an open flap. So this is a place that you can store your tray table and your freehand system, your manual. So kind of your flatter items can get stored in the front there. On the side, you're making a mesh pocket, and this is perfect for storing like your foot control, power cord can get stored in here. You can use that fold over elastic or a coordinating fabric to finish the edge of this. And again, this mesh kind of has a little bit of that stretchy property to it, so it will expand with your foot control with whatever that you're putting in there. On the other end of this bag, there is a zippered compartment. So this would be a place that you could store some things that you want a little bit more secure. Maybe some presser feet, maybe your bobbins, your needles, your scissors could go in there. And then on the top of the bag itself, it does have magnets that are on there, and so your handle of your machine is going to come out through here, but it's really easy to be able to get into that. Now, this is not a real machine. If I was just hoisting a real machine around like this, I mean, I'd be at the gym a little bit more than I'd be at my sewing machine. So this is, we just have a box in this machine cover, but this is the undercover pattern by Annie. So I always love to show you a by Annie's pattern because they are all so great. So that is one of her newest patterns that she has out, is undercover. All right, I want to show you a fun die that we have here of AccuQuilt die. So this is the Baby Bib Die, and this is a great one from AccuQuilt that is designed to cut out the shapes of the baby bib, and you can add, it has instructions for how to add, and so this is a fun die, and I've got several different options that I'm going to show you that were made with this. So there's lots of ways that you can construct the baby bib. This is one that we did with, this actually has like a bias binding that's around the edge of this. And so that was made to finish the edge of this because we put the vinyl on here. So there you can get a vinyl that is an iron-on vinyl. So this is one of the vinyls that we have. So it looks like a grid, but you just iron this on. It comes with instructions of how to do that. And then we have a little bit lighter weight one. This one is called Lamifix, and this one is a little bit lighter weight of a laminate, so it's almost a little bit heavier than like Saran Wrap, but that one is going to be a little bit lighter weight Lamifix. And they both work about the same, and so this one was laminated, and then on the bottom a little pocket was added on here. You see this a lot in ready-made bibs, that they have this little trough pocket on the bibs to help to catch the milk and everything, the little crummies that fall down in there. So this is a really cute one that has just a little Velcro on the side, and I love the shape of this. I love having the Velcro on the side, the closure on the side, instead of right in the center in the back. So that's a great design. This one is really cute. So this just has, this has a little bit of interfacing in it so that it stands up. It's a little bit more stable of a pattern, but just using a fun fabric collection. Oh gosh, if I could remember the name of that fabric collection. It's one that we carry here. It's from Wyndham, and I'll think of it. Somebody will think of it and tell me. What's that? Good Vibes. Thank you. Good Vibes is the collection for this. So this is a lot of fun. Flip side of that, so it is totally reversible. This one is very, very cute. This one has these little fun kitties. This is a flannel fabric with these little kitties on it, and then incorporating a little bit of rickrack in there as well, so that rickrack helps to dress that up a little bit. So really easy to be able to put simple additions onto something like this. So this is flannel. And then these two, this is featuring the Mickey Mouse fabric that we have. And this was one that, this is the regular print on the background, and then this was a little fussy cut applique that was put on there. So I'll get a little bit closer so you can see the edge of that was just stitched down. And on the back side of this, we used a little piece of minky. So this is nice and soft on the back side. So kind of like a taggy with your bib at mealtime. And then this guy is another one that we used the Lamifix on, the laminated fabric on. The difference with this one was instead of using the laminate on the whole bib, it was used on the base part, and so there's no laminate up in this top section here. So not only is that a really cute kind of asymmetrical design, but it also is a little bit more functional because you don't have the laminate here. That makes it a little bit easier to work with not having the laminate on this. So this is another one that has the laminate on the front side of that to help wipe that down and make that a lot easier. So this is the Baby Bib Die from AccuQuilt. Okay, next I want to show you an embroidery collection that we have. This is from a collection called Chrysanthemums, and this is a really beautiful silk dupioni pillow that was made using one of the designs. There's even an additional design on the back of that, and so these designs, there are some nice lightweight kind of thinner designs that are in this collection as well that could work for quilting designs or really easy embellishment designs. But I wanted to show you this design today because it has a little bit different of a technique on it that you probably haven't seen very often. This is called Tufted Satin. And I'm going to zoom in on this so that you can see that. It is kind of a three-dimensional design out of stitching. And so how that is made is all of this part it is almost like chenille. And so all of this that is that chenille kind of a feel looked like satin stitches before when it was stitched out in the machine. And then you can take a razor blade or like a surgical seam ripper like this, and you are just slicing through a few layers of the thread. There's lots of thread that's stitched over this. So, you know, a typical satin stitch, it maybe goes over it twice. With this tufted satin stitch, it goes over it like 5 or 6 times, so that as you're cutting through this, you cut and that thread just pops out, and so it gives that great chenille look. Isn't that beautiful? It just adds so much dimension, and it really is a simple design when you look at it. So this is from the Chrysanthemums Collection. I do have this specially priced on our website, and this collection is a multi-formatted collection, so that means it will work with any brand of sewing machine. It is a CD, so it can go into your computer or your CD drive and just be transferred over onto a USB stick. If you're looking to have your designs, and so you can see how like this design, this was that design I stitched out there, but all of these kind of flowery designs all have that tufted satin stitch on it. And then there's some that are great just quilting designs as well. So any of these collections, if you would like it put onto a USB stick for you, we can do that. We just need you to purchase a USB stick. We carry the Inspired to Sew USB sticks, and we're happy to transfer those designs that you purchase on a CD onto the stick for you. So if you're not comfortable doing that, we can certainly send you instructions of how to do it at home yourself. But if you're not comfortable doing that, we're happy to do that for you. Just let us know. Okay, next I want to show you another AccuQuilt die. And so this was actually when I showed you this last time we were together, the wonky heart die. So if you want to see how it cuts and how the layout of it goes together, you can go back and you can watch that video. You can always go back and rewatch any of the videos that we make. But I got thinking about this yesterday, and I got thinking, you know what, I forgot to even mention this. This is a die that's designed to use with a layer cake. So a layer cake are the 10-inch squares, so it's like a charm pack but larger, so it's a 10-inch square. And this was designed specifically to use with layer cakes. So if you have some layer cakes, this wonky heart die is designed to use with that. And I wanted to show you because I came across the sample that we had made with a layer cake at one time. So this is a very cute little wonky heart quilt, and we did a really simple little sashing in there to separate those wonky hearts. Just a solid yellow with the blue to help give that a little bit of structure. So this is a really fun little project that I wanted to show you, and also to make an offer to you that if you buy one of the wonky heart dies, I will give you a free layer cake. So this is a layer cake that has 24 pieces in it. This is a collection from Kate England, the Embroidery Collection. So if you purchase a wonky heart die between now and the end of April, I will include a free layer cake for you. So just make that purchase and I will put it in the package for you. Okay, next I would like to show you some new Cuddle Kits that we have. So these are a lot of fun. These are so new that we don't actually even have the samples for these. So I wanted to show you what this quilt looks like, and then I'm going to show you the fabrics that are in these two kits. So this is the Crazy 8 quilt. And this is a big quilt. This is like a lap size, throw size, maybe almost a twin size quilt. So this is called Crazy 8, and this is one that we have made up in some new fabric. So this is Hear Me Roar Java. Let me get turn that. And this has a lot of really fun, Shannon has come out with some really great fabrics that are even more plush. And so, you know, animal prints are so popular right now, but these not only look amazing, they also feel great. They have really plush textures to them. And so this one is the Java, and then this is Hear Me Roar in Cream. So this is a really pretty white and cream collection. So this is going to be a little bit more sophisticated of a pattern. So those are the Crazy 8 Hear Me Roar collections. Okay, next I want to show you a couple of new things that we've gotten in from Kimberbell. I know that we have some people that have been asking for this collection, so I would like to show you this. This is the Vintage Boardwalk. Vintage Boardwalk is an embroidery collection, and so with this embroidery collection you get the CD that has all of the designs, as well as the instructions to do the cover quilt here. And there's also some extra little projects that are in here too. So this is a lot of fun. This is a really great pattern book that you could pull this apart and do lots of little projects, or you could work on the full project on the front. Now Kimberbell does a great job of also putting together add-on kits that include all of the extra pieces that you need to complete that. So we have the Vintage Boardwalk Quilt Embellishment Kit. So this includes all of the supplies that you need to complete the quilt that's on the cover. So you get the buttons, you get the trims, you don't have to go around and collect all of those pieces, which is something that I love about how they put these kits together. So this is the Vintage Boardwalk Embellishment Kit and Embroidery Collection. I also want to show you something that, just to make sure everybody is clear about, if you want to be doing the 1/4 inch ties for the masks, this is the bias tape maker that you want. This is the 12mm fusible bias tape maker. We have them in stock right now, and this is what you're going to use to make the 1/4 inch ties. So this is 12mm, which also equates to 1/2 inch. So the 1/2 inch is when it comes out of the tape maker, and then you fold it in half again to make your strips. So that's your 1/4 inch strip. So you want to get the 12mm fusible bias tape maker to make your 1/4 inch strips for the masks. My little information session there for you for today. Then I want to show you, we've been adding some new things onto our website, and a couple of the things that we've been adding are some accessories for your machine. One of them that is invaluable is this Big Book of Feet. So the Big Book of Feet is a book that Bernina has designed that goes through all of the machine accessories that are available for your Bernina. And it goes through and shows you the presser feet. What I love about this is it shows you all the different feet. So this is foot number 1, your standard foot. It tells you about what that foot does. It shows you the different applications and the different settings that you should do to have your stitch. And then it shows you how to apply those settings and what to do with those things. So this is a great resource that goes through and shows you not only what accessories you have that came with your machine, but also what accessories are available to achieve the techniques and projects that you wanted to do. So this is the Big Book of Feet. We also have a Big Book of Embroidery, and so the embroidery goes through embroidery techniques, embroidery accessories, stabilizers, needles, threads. That's all covered in the Big Book of Embroidery. So we have the Big Book of Feet and Big Book of Embroidery. So if you don't own that resource, this is definitely one that you should be investing in to make the most out of your machine. All right, I think that was all of those things I wanted to show you. So now I'm going to try something that we've not done before, so we're going to see how this works. I'm going to do a live demonstration of cutting with different types of scissors that I've honestly not cut with before. So I am comparing them to my favorite scissors. These are the Perfect scissors, and these come in 3 different sizes. This is the large size. So these scissors I have used. These are my favorite scissors that I use as, not the only scissors that I use, but these are ones that work really, really great. They have a serrated blade on them, and so they help to pull the fabric into my scissor instead of, have you ever cut with scissors and felt like your fabric is just getting pushed away from the blades? These scissors will actually pull that fabric into the blades. I also love that the point on these scissors are super sharp. So these are really great to be able to get to kind of your corners and your edges and get into those little nooks and crannies. So that's kind of the contender. That's my, that's what I'm comparing this to. I'm gonna adjust my stand a little bit here so that you all can see this nice and close. I'm also going to be kind of crouching over a little bit. Okay, so what I did was I've brought some different kinds of fabrics today that I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to try these out. So I have just 2 layers of fabric that I traced a design on, and I think a heart is a really great design to kind of try things out with because you get the curve, but you also get the point. I have some really lightweight knit here. This is super, almost like gauzy kind of a knit, kind of a see-through. I wanted to see if anything was going to catch on the blades of those scissors. I brought a lightweight woven fabric to see how that was going to cut through there. I brought some denim fabric that I want to cut through. So this is, I'm going to cut through 4 layers of denim at a time there. And then I brought some scraps from making a byannie's bag, because byannie's bags, you've got lots of layers in here. So I've got some zipper, I've got some mesh, I've got the soft and stable, I've got at least 4 layers of fabric up here where there's some trim. I've got even more layers of fabric there. So I'm going to cut through these things. Now, you know that I've talked to you about these Kai scissors, how much I love these scissors because of having the blunt nose on them. There's some other things that I love about them. So of course I had to put one of these Kai scissors into my comparison. So I wanted to get kind of equal sizes when I'm going to be comparing them to my Perfect scissors. So I chose, these are the Kai Dressmaker 8.5 inch scissor. And then I also chose the Tula Pink 8 inch shear. And so these are just beautiful, aren't they? So a couple things I don't know a whole lot about. I truly do not use these scissors yet. And so I really wanted to do this for you just live. I thought it might be a little bit of fun. So I do know that the process for getting the look on these Tula Pink scissors is the same as what I talked to you about with the sewing machine, that it is a gas process. So that pretty iridescent color is not going to chip off of this design or off of this scissor. It is something that is actually done to the metal. So it is a permanent thing on those scissors. And then, so these are nice, these are going to be similar to a standard metal shear. They are heavyweight metal. That's the first thing that I'm seeing and feeling with this, is they are heavyweight metal. The whole thing is metal with that. So those are heavy scissors. These Kai scissors, on the other hand, are lightweight. They're a little bit heavier than the Perfect scissors. So I would say the Perfect scissors are still physically the lightest weight scissor. The Kai scissors are the next lightest weight. They're still very lightweight. The other difference that I'm noticing right away is the handles on these scissors are similar to the Perfect scissors in that they have a little bit of a squish to them. So you can see how I can kind of squish those handles a little bit. So to me, that is, that probably lends a lot towards the comfort level. Both of these scissors, you can see how they are designed at a little bit of an angle. So the Kai scissors are a little bit more of an angle, how the handle is angled away from the blade, whereas the Tula scissors are a little bit more straight in line. And then you look at the Perfect scissors and that's a totally different design. So we're not necessarily comparing apples to apples here, but I just because I know you can't be in the store and feeling these scissors, I thought that doing a demonstration like this and telling you about them would maybe help to serve that purpose. So I'm going to first so I have 2 layers of just regular cotton fabric that I have pinned together here. And I'm going to cut this out and see how cutting on the line goes. So this is cutting very nicely. See how feeling around those curves go. I feel like I have a lot of control over this, and I want to get into that point, and I feel like I have a nice clean point with that heart. So I'm really able to go in here and get around this curve and be able to follow that line. I do not feel like it pushed that fabric out of the way at all. So that was a really nice experience for that first one. With the Tula scissors, same thing. Now, hopefully I'm going to give you like rave reviews on all 3 sets of these scissors because we sell them all. So I hope that's the intention here. Now this one doesn't have quite as pointy of a tip, so it is a little bit harder to get into that point. But again, I'm not necessarily using these scissors for the purposes that they were designed for. These are a shear, not really designed to get into those perfect little points. So still overall, cutting 2 layers of fabric is good. Certainly I can feel the difference in the metal handle on this versus the rubberized handle on the Kai scissors. So if I was doing a lot of cutting, I think I would feel that a little bit sooner on the Tula scissors than on the Kai scissors. Next, I want to cut through this kind of thin woven fabric to see how that feels. And that feels very nice with the Kai scissors. Nice clean cut. And the Tula scissors also are doing a really nice job. Nice clean cut on that really thin, lightweight woven fabric. You know, one of the things that kind of annoys me is when you see those pictures of like, oh, before and after, or you know, this one versus that one, and it feels so staged that I wanted to try to give you a better experience of what the reality of this was. So this is cutting through a lightweight knit, and I wanted to test how you know, how that worked with this really lightweight fabric. That one is pretty good. It was the Kai scissor pushed the fabric a little bit. I'm going to do the Perfect scissors too after this. So I definitely don't, it cuts fine, but I feel with both of these that it's not really grabbing the fabric. So I have to be a little bit more in charge with it. Where, yeah, I mean, the Perfect scissors still, I feel like it is definitely grabbing that lighter weight fabric and helping to not push it away from the blade. So for that really lightweight knit fabric, I'm going to say that those Perfect scissors are still perfect for that. All right, next I want to do some denim. So I have 4 layers of denim here, and this is, I want to just see how does this feel like cutting through that much layer, and how really what's the fatigue like on my hand, because you know, cutting through that many layers, I am certainly getting through it with the Kai scissors. I can feel it a little bit. If I was cutting this for a long period of time, it would hurt, but so I can definitely feel it, but I was able to easily get through 4 layers of denim. The Tula scissors, I definitely can feel I feel more, and it could be because the handles are all metal. It could also be, I feel like I lose, so right here, about 1.5 inches away from the end of the blade there, I feel like I am losing the momentum, and so I have to do a recut. So I'm getting about, oh, what is that, about probably 1.5 inches of a good cut on that before I have to reposition my scissors. I'm going to try this again with these Kai scissors and see. I feel like I'm getting about, what was that, about a 2-inch, 1.75 inches of a cut on that before I have to reposition those blades. So, you know, not surprisingly, after cutting through 4 layers of denim, I am losing a little bit of the momentum towards the end. I'm going to try this with the Perfect scissors. Oh yeah, so you can see how that's almost splitting there. So the Perfect, so definitely for cutting through the denim fabric, the Kai scissors are the winner with that one. So the Perfect scissors, I have about 1 inch before it rotates that fabric into that blade. Isn't this a useful little experiment that we're doing here? Oh my gosh, cool. Okay, now last thing I want to cut through is these scraps of fabric here. So I'm going to start with, we'll start with the Tula scissors here. So I've got the Soft and Stable. There's a section here that has the binding on it. There's a zipper that's in here. Then there's 2 layers of Soft and Stable. So I'm just going to cut through this. And I definitely have gotten stopped here at the point of the binding, but it's also about at my 1.5 inches where I have to reposition anyways. So this is working. I just am getting about 1 inch before I have to continue to move the scissors up, which might just be the way that it is, especially with working with some different fabrics like that, some heavier weight fabrics. Now, honestly, when I'm cutting this stuff at home to make the Annie's bags, I'm using my rotary cutter and it zips right through it. So it's not necessarily that this is a practical use for how I'm sewing, but it is all in the name of science here, an experiment. So again, got stopped on that, not surprising, but able to cut through the rest. Still, the Kai scissors they feel good, and I think that's, you know, over the long haul, that's what's important, is the feeling on those handles are really, really good. Now I'm going to do the perfect scissors. I think I might have just found a new pair of scissors that I need to take home. So the perfect scissors are, I really like them because they pull the fabric into the blades, but the Kai scissors are definitely stronger because these scissors are really designed for like applique work, for your finer cutting work. And I would say, my opinion is the Kai scissors are going to win for utility purpose cutting. So that was interesting. Did you guys find that interesting? I did. So we do have all of these scissors available on our website. The Kai scissors we actually have in a couple of different sizes as well. So this is the 8.5 inch shear. I believe we have a 9 inch and a 10 inch shear available as well. So I hope that you were able to learn a little bit more about scissors and that you enjoyed seeing a little bit about that. I think that's everything that I wanted to show you today. Thank you for joining me. I will be back on Thursday, and I'm going to have an update for you on all things masks on Thursday. We will answer all of those questions. I know that I appreciate your patience. We are working with our vendors to try to get as much here as we possibly can so that we can get things out to you. We have a couple of fun ideas that we're working on to try to help make that mask production a little bit faster and easier for you to participate in, and easier for you to get masks out to your friends and family and coworkers as well. So as always, I appreciate if you would share this video on your Facebook page or with your friends and with your other groups, because we always love to help people be inspired to sew, and I hope I was able to do that for you today. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye, everybody.